So the project is 1,800 kilometers long. It is 51% owned by 24 First Nations, and it provides reliable access to electricity to communities that used to rely on diesel generators for energy. Who came up with the idea and how did you start discussing it?
It has taken 34 years for our First Nations to bring reliable energy into the area. So it is our First Nations that talked about it in terms of one, looking at the need. At the same time, the driving force is also vision. Any infrastructure that's owned in our homeland, that we own it. When you agree to work together as First Nations or as Indigenous communities, you establish those principles and you agree to disagree, not in public, but together, work through the solutions, come up with solutions, and then it will work. And our people initially talk to each other about how they're going to work together. They talked about how are they going to be structured. They talked about how is the distribution, if we make any money in the future, how will that look like? So they agreed to two things, and they agreed that there will be one voice, and they agreed that there'll be equal distribution no matter what the size of the community. We were studying this project to death before it actually became a project. We did all sorts of economic studies. We did all sorts of feasibility studies. We did, even infrastructure kind of market sounding study. Like there's just a whole pile of studies we did to make sure that the bankers, the governments, the regulators are comfortable that this can be a standalone project as well, inform and kind of help our people understand that this is a little bit more complex than we envisioned. But here, this is not just chump change we're talking about. We're talking about $1.9 billion project. Given the really negative history of Canada and Indigenous people, I always tell people this could be a reconciliation project. This could be the vision where our people are changing the way things have been, as well as to crawl out of that deep, dark hole that we're in for healing, and to make sure that we are doing what we should have been, a wealthy nation in Canada. We are starting that journey, and it has to continue from that perspective. The main focus is ownership. How do we maintain majority ownership by First Nations? Whatever happens, it can go back on to First Nations. Whatever happens, it should not impact future generation because we want to keep intact majority ownership and as well eventual 100% ownership of our First Nations in the future in 25 years. There's only one company that said, we'll work with you on 51% majority ownership with 100% of First Nation ownership in the future. And that's how Fortis came to be. So we're very thankful for Fortis as a company because they are very good industry leader that are supporting the vision of our people of ownership, and we're very grateful to have a partner that supports that vision and enabling the vision of ownership. And not only that, helping us understand what energy transmission building is like and bringing reliable energy into the communities.
If you look in hindsight, if you look back, what's the advice that you would give communities that would want to do what you have done in this part of the world?
Stick together, establish your expectations at the beginning, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Stand by your principles. There's always going to be trials and errors. There's also always going to be challenges, but establish that vision and that mandate, and you should be able to go to do it. Anything can happen as long as people are willing to work together.